This is a fun prediction. This is go big or go home. You know what's going to end the show? Phil's going to come out, and then Kami is going to come out, and they're going to shake hands. And the handshake that shook the industry, and then they're going to show and announce that Scalebound's back in production, baby. Platinum, back with Xbox, acquired, Scalebound back in full development, and it ends the show, and it looks just as bad as it looked back in 2015.
Put it on and charge it by collecting.
Tweet that out.
Wow.
Lose fuel as you move, but as long as you bring it back with at least 50% charge.
Oh,
Voila! We got
oh,
it back.
damn.
Maybe.
Oh my god. So James Moore says it's called Project Gotham because the first game is called Metropolis Street Racer. Okay.
Hang on. Metropolis, isn't that also DC?
I mean, that's where...
Isn't that where Superman lives?
Yeah, that's what Superman is, yes.
So these are DC racing games then? One's set in Metropolis and one's set in Gotham, right? So they are DC racing games, right? No? Yes?
No, they're not.
Why is he trolling me right now? Oh, I'm having fun today. I'm having fun. Oh, wow. Lots of people are retweeting my retweet.
Yeah. Well,
loads of people retweeting my quote shoot, man. Oh, damn. 82 likes already. Miles dropping in. Insider confirms.
Jesus Christ.
I can't believe Brad leaked it.
You know what?
Brilliant.
I love it. Now my notifications are blowing up on Twitter. Like, unbelievable. Elvin Gully says calling it out, Scalebound will be announced at the show. Yeah. Don JG says Keeley just said Modern Warfare 2 will be at the Summer Games Fest. Won't be at the Xbox show for sure. Yes. See, now we still gotta predict the rest of the show. Is Idle Sloth literally going to just, for every studio that we say? I mean, how come we didn't tweet out that we both said that we don't think Halo Infinite's gonna be at the show? Was that not spicy enough?
Oh man, it's funny. X-Power says Morbius Racing for June 12th confirmation. Morbius. Oh man.
Alvin says, why is it only the big weeks that Xbox always say we have two of a genre when it's just 2 or 3 games? I don't know. Anyways, thanks for this. I appreciate it, because now it's probably going to go up on Reset Era. People are going to call me names. People are going to call me, Rand's a nobody. What does he know? And it's like literally just a fun prediction. You know what? You're right. You should have. Yeah.
No, but dude, why? If it becomes true now, everyone's gonna think you're either a hardcore like insider guy, Randall not insider. People are gonna think like, oh my god, Rand really does know everything. Or they're gonna think you're literally psychic. They're gonna start coming to you like to predict their futures.
Yeah. Well, that's not true. Daswell Gordon says Project Gotham was the game's code name apparently. So there you go.
Just the ME. Gotham is a village in Nottinghamshire, England. That is where New York got its nickname as Gotham back in 1807.
East Coast says,
I did not know that.
Did Jez actually say none of Xbox's games are high quality and not mind-blowing? Oh, apparently that's gotten out there now, Jez.
Oh, well. Oh, well. Microsoft proved me wrong then, right?
Miguel Ivers, thank you for becoming the newest member of the channel. I really appreciate it. Oh man, this just threw me off my game. Like I saw this and I'm like, really? Come on. Anyways, let's get back to talking about the stuff. And Street Fighter 6, Jez, we talked about Resident Evil 4. We're both super excited. You watched the trailer for Street Fighter 6. I think both me and you in the past have said don't expect it to come to Xbox, and if it does, well then you're really happy. And we were both wrong, and great. Love being wrong in this sense because Street Fighter 6 is coming to Xbox. And have to say, I thought it looked pretty damn good. Uh-oh. Did we lose Jez?
Oh, I'm here. I'm just.
Oh, great.
I'm just
Dog
replying to
retweeted it. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just getting loads of DMs about your predictions. It's going viral, man. I'm gonna ask Phil to retweet it.
Jesus.
Let's see if I can get Phil. That'd be really funny if Phil retweeted it. But sorry, what were you saying, Rand?
We were talking about Street Fighter 6, and I said how cool it really was.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of the old school Street Fighter games. You know, like me and my buddy Tom at school, we used to play these games until like our fingers bled, when we got like all the sort of calluses and blisters on thumbs from, you know, trying to do Hadoukens and, you know, Shoryukens and all that stuff. And we played it hardcore, man. Like all of them. There was so many back then on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. And like Street Fighter Alpha, and then Street Fighter Alpha X Plus, and Street Fighter Alpha X Plus Super Duper graphics pack, and this kind of stuff. So like, but since it's been exclusive, I kind of dropped off my fandom. It's like, well, it's not my platform, and I don't really want to play on PC, so I just kind of ignore that it exists. So it's kind of nice being able to be excited again for a new Street Fighter, and it looks really, really damn good. I was surprised to see that there's like some kind of open world aspect to it. Like you run around as a character, you can punch things open and maybe get some kind of loot or something. I don't know. Like, but it looks great. The visuals look great. It's the RE engine, I guess, right? And sort of the fact that it's going to be on everything should lead to sort of a boost in interest for the fighting game genre in general. And I think like if you bring in like Street Fighter to a whole new generation of gamers, and it's going to be on everything, it really has that potential to go like fully viral, and like hopefully bring in new blood, and maybe lead to more investment in fighting games in general. Maybe this helps boost the chances of us getting a new Killer Instinct. If Microsoft sees the success of this and thinks, oh, we should have our own exclusive fighter as well. So I'm really hopeful for it. I mean, like I said earlier, Capcom seemingly could do no wrong lately, so I think it's hype future on the way. What did you think, man?
I
intrigued
think it looks
what
really
the
good.
roster's going to be. I know some of it leaked, right? I haven't seen the leak.
Yeah, a lot of other characters leaked and stuff, but I'm really happy it's coming to Xbox, because it would have been bad if 2 Street Fighter games and 2, you know, consecutive generations skipped Xbox. That would have been a very, very bad thing. So, you know, I'm happy for everybody that that they can be able to play your Street Fighter on Xbox next year. They didn't give a date, so probably later in the year. So Street Fighter 6 coming to Xbox. But I thought, for me, game of state of play was the Callisto Project.
Yeah, that looked.
Oh my lord!
Damn mind blowing.
Give it to me right now. Give it to me right now. Like, not like Glenn Schofield's the, you know, the studio head. He's the one who made Dead Space. It definitely looks like a spiritual successor to Dead Space 1 and 2. And bro, it rocketed up for me to like second most anticipated game of the year. Like, there's still God of War Ragnarok is still number 1. But like slightly behind that is the Callisto Project. Like everything I saw from that game, the horror aspects and everything. I would not be surprised if Callisto Project's better than Dead Space remake, which would be hysterical considering this is a spiritual successor.
Yeah, did they announce a launch date?
Yeah, I think it's December 2nd. Yeah, December 2nd.
Oh, that's a very, very Christmassy kind of game. Very,
yeah,
very
definitely
kind of Christmas game. Yeah, it looked amazing. Like, atmospherically on point. Graphics look crisp and super creative. Like, it kind of reminded me of this old movie called The Virus. Have you seen that? It's sort of like a body horror sort of movie. It's not great, but it has some like really great costuming and stuff. I'm kind of rooting for this, not just because it's going to be a great horror game, and I love horror games, and also Glenn Schofield is a master of the medium, but I'm sort of rooting for this because I want to fuck over EA. And I want EA to recognize what they did to Visceral was absolutely ridiculous and dumb and short-sighted. And the fact that they're remaking Dead Space, which is a game which arguably doesn't even need a remake, in my view, is cynical cash grab because they realized how absolutely dumb they were to have treated Visceral the way they did, you know. And I want Callisto Project to do really well because I want it to fuck over EA more than anything. You know, if I get a good horror game out of it, great. But if it fucks over EA even more, then even greater. So that's my view. I'm spiteful, man. I'm spiteful, and I'm still bitter that they closed down Visceral. I'm still bitter that they forced Visceral to make a Battlefield clone or Battlefield spin-off rather. That just was not what they. It wasn't their DNA to make a Battlefield game. It clearly was not. So, yeah. I just want EA to get fucked over.
Ahmed in the super chat says, "Hi, how did you find the art style of Street Fighter 6? I love the art style. I think the game looks.
Yeah, I think it was really good.
I think it looks flashy. I like the little like flares of. I don't even would call it like color when people attack. I thought it was interesting though that there is no Xbox One version, but there is a PS4 version. So it's next gen only for Xbox, but PS5 and PS4. Presumably because they're going to use the PS4s for tournaments, the fighting game community. Plus also like Street Fighter 5 was on PlayStation 4. That's where the audience is. It wasn't on Xbox One, so maybe it didn't make any sense to port it to Xbox One. So that was something I did take away from the trailer. But yeah, super excited for Callisto Project, you know, Street Fighter 6 and Resident Evil 4. So I thought State of Play was pretty good. It's good for Xbox fans. A lot of great multi-plat titles coming over. And before we get into our predictions for the showcase, which, God, these better not all be tweeted out. Can you guys do us a big favor and hit the like button? People are saying that I got slothed. Like, oh man, you just got slothed. Yeah, I guess that's a new thing. I got slothed. Miguel Ivers in the super chat says, F Marvel, F DC, and F Star Wars. Where's my AAA open world, Breath of the Wild like, Sifu-like, deep combat OG Dragon Ball RPG? Killing two birds with one stone, huge IP, and guaranteed Japanese Asia hit.
Man, it kind of bugs me how, I don't know, how underutilized the Dragon Ball IP is in gaming. Like, I remember even when I was a little kid, I was thinking this, like, where the hell is our, like, high-quality Dragon Ball game? And there just wasn't really any. There's, like, a couple of decent fighting games, but there was not, like, sprawling Goku simulator, which is, you know, where the franchise logically should go from a gameplay perspective. Who knows, man? Maybe we'll get it someday.
But looking at our stats, I think we need every last second we have for target practice.
Yeah,
This is not a joke.
Also, Sony announced that both Spider-Man games are coming to PC. And you had a nice little tweet about that.
Yeah.
Nice little tweet.
I did, yeah. I'm all about that. I'm all about this. PlayStation bangers hitting PC.
Yeah. Are you actually going to play Spider-Man now that's coming to Windows PC?
I'll give it a go. I think I upset some people on Defining Dude podcast when was it Defining Dude or was it on our podcast?
I don't think it was Defining Dude.
When I talked about how it was on our podcast. He compared Spider-Man to Batman in Google Trends.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, Batman's bigger than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And some people were like, oh my god, Spider-Man's the biggest. No. It's like, no, well, Google Trends says that Batman's bigger, you know. Google Trends don't lie. But, I don't know. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a go, you know, now that it's come to PC. Like, I've always said, I won't buy a whole console just for a few exclusives. I won't do it. You know, because I barely have time to play the games that I've got. You know, I've got a PC and an Xbox is more than enough for me. Like, my Switch barely gets any usage. So, like, why would I buy a whole other console just for that I'm not going to have time to use, you know? But because I've already got a PC, I'll rock that game on my PC, and I'll definitely give it a go. I might even review it for Windows Central, review it for me. Because Sony has actually been pretty damn amazing at porting the games to PC, to be honest. Like Days Gone port was really good, and Horizon port was really good. I thought, like, it did have some issues, I think, on some setups, but on my setup, it was really, really good. So I think they've been doing a great job of it so far, and it's exciting to see that continue. I'm also, I do intend, Rand, to one day finish Death Stranding.
You're never gonna finish it. You're never gonna finish
I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
No,
Don't say I'm not.
Did you even
I'm
finish
gonna finish it, man.
Did you even finish God of War?
I did finish God.
Okay, good.
But I didn't fully finish Death Stranding, and I didn't fully finish Days Gone either. I'm going to finish both of those games.
No, you won't.
Because it's the summer of the backlog.
Summer of the backlog. Okay.
It's summer of the backlog. I'm going to finish all the backlog games, and yeah.
Are you surprised that there are still some Sony fans that are upset at this stuff? Like they don't see the writing on the wall about Sony and PC?
Is there really?
Oh yeah.
Is there really?
Oh yeah. But then there's also the ones that
are you sure they're not just trolling?
No, I can definitely tell which ones are trolling, because I know some of them are trolling, but it's interesting because a lot of them move the goalposts. A lot of them are like, well, I don't know how this is a big deal. It's 4 years later, right? Like Spider-Man 2018, and it's like, yeah, but the thing is, you were saying they would never come, right? Like it all started. Sony would never put their games on PC back in 2018. Never. Because, unlike Xbox, Sony knows the value of an exclusive. The reason why nobody buys Xbox is because the Xbox is useless, because you can get all their exclusives on PC, right? Even though right now, the Series X and S, fastest selling Xboxes ever, essentially, consoles you don't even need because all their games are on PC, and yet they're selling out all the time, faster than ever before. And I've always said that the PC console crowd, really, there's not a lot of crossover. PC guys are going to be PC guys. They're not buying consoles to play these games. And console guys are going to basically be console guys. They're not going to go out there and get top-of-the-line rigs to play their stuff. Some might, but it's not going to be a significant, audience, right?
I'm definitely the exception. And to be honest, I got a high-end PC more for content creation than gaming. It's just like it's a byproduct of the fact that I need a GPU to video edit and stuff. Back when I did do it, I don't really do it that much anymore. But like Xbox is my primary platform, and it always will be. But well, lately it's been my phone. I'm just a casual now, Rand. I'm just a casual mobile gamer.
But my point was, like, the goalpost was Sony would never do this thing. Never do this thing. And then the goalpost constantly shifted to, well, Quantic Dream is porting their games to PC because Sony is an investor in Epic, right? And then it was like, Sony would never put Uncharted on there, and then Sony put Uncharted in there. And it was like, Sony would never put God of War on there, and then they put God of War in there, and they put Horizon on there, and it's like, Sony would never put Spider-Man on there, which now they have. But now it's like, well, these are all 4-year-old games. Sony would never do day and date. And it's just like, you don't think so? You don't think they're going to do day and date? You don't think these live service games that Sony has, like 15 of them coming in the next 3 or 4 years, you don't think they're going to launch on PC and PlayStation the same day? Like, are you that
they're building
blind?
a launcher?
Are you that?
You think that they're building a PC launcher? You think they're building that for fun? I don't think they're building that for fun, right?
I don't get it, man. It's like, I get it, the whole console war thing, because I think PlayStation guys don't want, because the PlayStation guys have always gave Xbox guys, crap for, oh, you don't need an Xbox to play games, and I think they're just a little, they don't want Xbox guys to then go and say the same thing to Sony guys, being like, now you don't need a PlayStation because PlayStation games are all on PC. But if you look at what Sony's been saying about how they're going to become a multi-platform company. You look at everything they're doing, the type of games they're making. Like, the idea that it's okay because it's a 4-year gap from release to PC release, and that you think it's going to stay a 4-year gap is ridiculous. Think with your brain, not with your fanboy heart. Those gaps are going to close. It's going to be like 1 year, or maybe 1.5 years because of, you know, all the work that needs to happen with these things and, you know, the pandemic stuff that we're finally getting on the other side of. Eventually, there's going to be 1 year gap, maybe like 6 months gaps. And once Sony has hard data that putting their games on PC day one doesn't affect their console sales at all, then their games are going to be on PC day one. Because it's also, when you launch on PC as well as console, you get more and more people talking about your game on social media, probably even having more and more people then buying those games. Because what does Xbox call that? The Halo? They call that, what do they call that effect with Game Pass? Because more and more people are playing about it, talking about it, that causes more and more people to actually go and buy the game. So if
it's just a marketing term, the Halo effect.
Yeah, so like, that's gonna happen. I don't know why it's like, oh, it's 4 years, man. Think with your head, think with your brain. Anyways, Spider-Man on
Or think with your balls.
Yeah.
Get 20% off.
Kodak V2. My notifications on Twitter keep on going off, but I can't look at it because we're doing a live podcast. TV.
Because I like multitasking.
And the super chat says, as I'm late to the show, can I please ask a question on a topic you have already talked about at the beginning of the show? Your pod is the best. Thank you. I mean, you can always ask the question. We'll answer it. Francisco, you get a $1 super chat with no message. Appreciate that. My man, Gaming Forte, he's been a member for 21 months. Says, sup, bro. Just over 1 week into the world is set on fire. Quote, good or bad for Xbox. Have a great weekend. I'm about to enjoy me some Top Gun Maverick. I cannot wait to see Top Gun Maverick. I'm going to watch it when it comes to available to rent. I don't really go out to the movies very much.
I saw the original.
Really?
Is it good? Is it aged well? Should I watch the original or I watch the new?
I don't know if it's aged well. It's alright. It's alright. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if you need to watch it for this one. Probably though. Probably some callbacks. Whittier says tuning being announced for PlayStation for September. Where does that leave Sifu and Kenna on Xbox? I mean, whenever their exclusivity contracts are up, and however long it takes them to port those games is whenever they'll come. Who knows who knows the extent and length of those deals? Microsoft tends to go for smaller deals so they can get more games on Game Pass, like exclusive wise for a few months. PlayStation tends to go for the longer deals for the indie titles. Dan says, it seemed on Twitter last night the biggest Xbox news of 2022 is Spider-Man coming to PC, so people can say it's no longer technically exclusive. Well, that's because Xbox guys are just giving back to the PlayStation guys. That's exactly what I said. You know, like, I think maybe people are starting to realize that Sony's really serious about the PC stuff, so now the Xbox guys can just dish back what the PlayStation guys gave them, essentially. That's what it really comes down to. Miguel says, Last of Us Remake Factions, Last of Us 2 PS5 Day 1 promote show. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about our predictions for the showcase, shall we? And
let's predict.
Let's predict. Let's see each one of these things on Twitter, because these are going to be wrong.
It's going to be fun.
I mean, my Final Fantasy VII thing is probably going to be wrong too, and then people will bring that up. Red was wrong about this. Okay, well, I mean, a prediction's a prediction. So let's start with a small one. Acquisitions. Thing that people love talking about. Who's gonna acquire who next? You know, Sony. I mean, Jim Ryan said recently that they're gonna acquire more studios. Xbox is currently in the throes of acquiring Activision. Do we see Xbox acquire anybody during the showcase? Announce next.
I think the answer to that is no. I've heard that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard is just like going smoothly. It's just a mountain of work. Like, someone said like they've worked in someone said to me they've worked in merging acquisitions for a long time and they've never seen this amount of hype in their life. So I think they're probably all hands on deck on the Xbox side for acquisitions. And furthermore, I think if they acquired more studios right now, it wouldn't look good from a regulatory perspective, possibly. So, and also, Aaron Greenberg himself said there's no business at the show, which is kind of a hint. It's kind of like saying no business. Yeah, he said something like that, I think. Or unless I'm mistaken.
He said that for one of the other shows. I didn't know if he actually said it for this one yet.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm getting it mixed up then, but yeah, even still, even if you didn't say that this year, and I'm getting confused. I don't think there'll be acquisitions of the show. I mean, what do you think? You think it's nice?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's just going to be about games. I don't think you're going to see any hardware or any acquisitions. So, moving on from that, 343, Jez. You know, for a while I thought that 343, I thought Halo was a lock for the showcase. It's a huge game. Even though it's going through some problems with their live service aspect. You know, you leaked Project Tatanka, which is their BR Warzone mode, and it kind of made sense. Like, okay, well, this is the Xbox's biggest day of the year. You have a trailer showcasing co-op and Forge, and end with like an announcement of Battle Royale coming in whatever season. I thought that made a lot of sense because we know Xbox loves their live service titles, and we've seen stuff like Sea of Thieves be at shows in the past, even though it's 4 years old at this point, right? I don't know. I kind of feel in my gut that Halo Infinite's not going to be there. That's going to skip because I don't think they have a firm grasp on when Tatanka's going to release or when it's going to be ready. So I think they're just going to it just doesn't show up at all. And because I don't think you can show up to the showcase with a trailer for Halo Infinite just being like, oh guys, co-op's coming, have fun. Like I feel like that would just it wouldn't send the right message. I think Halo Infinite just doesn't show up at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think what Halo Infinite needs is they need to, because they've got to know that community sentiment around Halo is pretty negative right now. And if they come out with a sort of lackluster sort of, yeah, here's co-op, or it's just like a little teaser for Tatanka or whatever, I don't think it'll have the desired effect. It won't have the desired impact. So I think what they do is maybe they wait until they've got a more detailed presentation to make, and then they just sort of like, they announce it as a separate event, and they sort of like, they do like a Halo mini event at some point maybe, where it's like they talk about Tatanka, and they talk about Season 3, and maybe Season 4, presumably Tatanka's Season 4 at this point. So I think there's a good chance that 343 will skip. And I think like, if it is going to skip, I think they might put a tweet out before the show saying like something like, you know, just to, you know, fix expectations and being like, yeah, Halo Infinite's not going to be at the show, but we've got some great stuff for you coming in the coming weeks or months or something like that. I kind of feel like that's probably what they'll do, but yeah, that's personally what I think. But I agree with you. I think that's the way it's going to go down, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Now, you mentioned in previous shows that you're fairly certain that there is another game that 343 is making. But you don't know what it is, you don't know if it's a Halo-related game, but this is separate from, like, DLC for Halo Infinite. Is it possible 343 shows up and shows this game and just doesn't talk about Halo Infinite?
I honestly don't know. I don't know a damn thing about this game. I don't know like what stage of development it's in. I don't know if it's just a concept or them looking ahead or, you know, putting ideas together, or if it's something more corporeal and something that, you know, that is gearing up to be shown off. I don't know if it's a smaller game or anything like that. I'm gonna predict no, but I could be wrong. I'm going to predict no, but I could be wrong. But Rand, my dude, I really need to get a drink because my throat is really dry. So just give me 2 minutes.
A whiskey drink?
No, we're not drinking any more alcohol for a little while. But yeah, just let me get a drink because my throat's getting like really messed up.
All right.
So I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Miami Magpie has been a member for 6 months. Says, I know you have said this before, but that is your TV recommendation for the Series X. I recommend the TV that I use, which is LG OLED CX. I have a 65-inch. I would have bought the 77 if it was on sale. But I love the TV. Now, I think there's 2 more models since then. I want to say, like, there's the C1s came out, or maybe 2 models after the X's. So maybe if you're looking for like brand new, looking into the LG C1s. But I am extremely happy with the CX. But I don't think you can get the CXs anymore because I think they're 2 generations behind. So yeah. As for the next one, so we got 343. We'll go to Bethesda, and we'll talk about Machine Games, because I've seen a lot of people talking about Wolfenstein recently. Dr. Dinglenet says a C1 and C2. Okay, well there you go. So the C2s I think are the newest, and the C1s are the ones after the CX. So yeah, you might want to look into those, because I don't think you can buy the CXs anymore. Machine Games is a developer I see brought up a lot, and is a favorite of Reset Era. People over there are wanting to believe that Wolfenstein 3 is going to be announced at the showcase. Not only be announced, but actually released this fall, which is something I would greatly desire. I'm a big fan of the Wolfenstein series. Even though Wolfenstein Youngblood was pretty bad, I still want to see the trilogy complete. And yeah, Pete Hines talked about the game essentially being real a couple years ago. And I've said previously that I think at some point they were working on the game, except they got the deal for Indiana Jones, and I think they sidelined Wolfenstein 3. So as much as I want to believe Machine Games is going to show up with Wolfenstein 3, I don't think they will. And this is something I would love to be wrong on. I would love to just have everybody just make fun of me and be like, haha, you took the L on this one. Like, I'll gladly take the L if we tune into the showcase and see a Wolfenstein 3 announced, even if it's for next year. But I think they're just all working in Indiana Jones, and they'll revisit Wolfenstein afterwards. So I guess that begs the question, since we know they're working on Indiana Jones, is does that game show up this year? And I've been going back and forth in my head about what game is going to start, what game is going to open the show, and what game is going to end the show. Now, the easiest answer, or the safest choice, is to say Starfield is going to open or close the show. And I actually think Starfield is going to be in the middle of the show. Personally, I don't want Starfield ending the show. I want something new.
Why not?
Because I want something new. Like, we saw Starfield last year. I don't want Starfield to end the show. I want it in the middle, or I want it to open. So I kind of want something brand new, unseen, whether that's like a Banjo game, whether that's, a new Fallout game, or realistically, the first look at Indiana Jones. So I'm just, this is where we're having fun. It's predictions. Even though apparently all my everything I say is literally going to be tweeted out live for everybody, and I'm just going to say, you know what? I think Indiana Jones ends the show. I think they show off a CGI trailer for Indiana Jones. So Machine Games
CGI to end the show? I don't think so.
Well, they've done. I mean, they can do maybe like a scripted gameplay thing, I guess. I mean, I'll just say I think Indiana Jones ends the show. Wolfenstein 3 is not there. Indiana Jones ends the show. with the CGI or whatever the hell they're planning on doing. I think that's what they're going to end the show with. What do you think about machine games, Jez?
Machine games, that's what we're talking about.
I went on a tangent about like open and
Okay. Machine games is interesting. A lot of people are waiting for Wolfenstein 3 announcements and stuff like that. I have no inside knowledge about what's going on there, so don't take this as Lisa's predictions. But the timeline for at least announcing a new Wolfenstein feels right to me. It feels like we sort of getting to that point now where maybe Indiana Jones is wrapping up, and that they can start looking ahead what comes after that. So I think like it would be pretty cool if we got Indiana Jones gameplay, which by the way I expect is multi-platform. By the way,
that's a Nick versus Jez thing because Nick says it's exclusive. So which one of you will be right?
Yeah. Well, I suppose there's only a 50% chance, but I heard a long time ago that it was multi-platform, and that PlayStation versions of the game exist. So if it isn't multi-platform anymore, something's changed. But I heard it's multi-platform, and I honestly don't think it's changed because they don't own the license for it. Your boys Disney own the license for it, and presumably Disney want that to be everywhere, and the contracts for that game were signed long in advance of Microsoft purchasing. I was going to say Activision Bethesda. Wow, what a dark timeline that would be. But no, not Activision Bethesda. Bethesda. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance that we could see Indiana Jones gameplay, and they'll be like, this is what we're doing next, and that is machine games, Wolfenstein 3. Does it close the show, though? I don't think you close the show with the multi-platform game. I think, personally, there will be gameplay for Indiana Jones, but I don't think it closes the show, unless it is exclusive, and unless it's absolutely super AAA banger, super duper cool. Yeah, I think
because Xbox closed the show with multi-platform before. They closed it with Anthem in 2017. They closed it with Cyberpunk in 2018. They're not above.
That's what I'm talking about.
Closing you with
I guess they're
multi-platform
not.
games.
Taking clean shots.
They're not above it, but I think like the way the narratives are being spun right now, I think you really want to slam home that sort of like this is our exclusive content kind of thing. I think Starfield closes the show.
I don't like it.
I don't like
it.
I know you don't. I don't like it, but I think Starfield closes the show. I think we end the show on a Forza Horizon-like demo, longer demo. Todd Howard describing how Starfield actually plays. I think that's how you end the show. Similarly to how they ended it with Forza Horizon last year, with a sort of walkthrough demo. I think that's how the show's going to end. Could be wrong, but I don't think you put that kind of demo in the middle of the show. Maybe you could open the show with that kind of demo, but I kind of feel like you want to come out the gate with sort of like excitement, quick surprises. Maybe Indiana Jones opens the show, you know. But I think like it's going to be a slower sort of longer form demo, and I think that's going to close.
The only way I will accept Starfield closing the show is if they have one more thing after it, where you have a 10-minute Todd Howard demo with Starfield, and then he's like, but wait a minute, we're not finished. You've just seen Starfield and what the next-gen experience looks like from Bethesda Game Studios. But here's a quick look at something else we're working on. And boom, it's a trailer for Fallout New Vegas 2 in conjunction with Obsidian. Or boom, it's a trailer for Fallout 5. Or boom, it's a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. I just think if you're ending it with Starfield, you need to also end it with like that little stinger at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be pretty cool if they did like the slower sort of demo for Starfield, and then everyone's sort of like relaxing and like, yeah, Starfield looks great. And then like they bring the excitement back up right at the end with sort of a Fallout tease in some way. You know, giving fans something that they want that isn't Fallout 72.
Which, by the way, another bold prediction, just like my Final Fantasy VII Remake one. I think Fallout's at the show. I think there's a Fallout game at this show. There's going to be a Fallout announcement. Whether it's Fallout 5, whether it's Fallout New Vegas 2, or whatever they call it from Obsidian, or whether it's a Fallout remaster remake of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, there's going to be a Fallout presence at this show.
That's a bold prediction. I wonder if Idle Sloth will drop that in a minute.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah. I want to believe you're right.
See, I'm not waffling, Jess. I'm putting my foot down, saying yes and saying no's. You're doing the whole, I don't know, maybe, it might, possibly, who knows? All because you just don't want to, you don't want to get tweeted out, and you don't want to be in articles and stuff, so,
I don't want the heat, man. I don't want the spice. That's a bit spicy for me. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, I want to believe there'll be Fallout presence at the show. Like, there's a lot of Fallout that I would like to see. Like, Fallout's one of my favorite franchises. It's got a huge poster on the wall. I got a Fallout 76 construction kit, which, by the way, I discovered is worth almost $1,000. Oh no, yeah. So I bought a Fallout 76 kit for a construction kit and never opened it. And like I've been looking at it for ages, thinking like, should I build that? Should I actually build that? And I saw them on eBay, and they're going for like almost $1,000. I'm like, maybe I should just sell it. but yeah, I think I want Microsoft to put its mark on the Fallout franchise and be like, yes, this is our franchise now, and this is what we're doing with it. So yeah, I would hope that we see Fallout at the show, even if it's Fallout Shelter 2. I'd be happy with that, because now I'm a mobile gamer, man. I'm a mobile gamer, baby.
Yeah. Ross Lang in the Super Chat says, if Disney wants its IPs like Machine Games, new game on all platforms, then why is Wolverine a PlayStation exclusive? Doesn't seem consistent. Well, I think when you're talking to Sony about a game, the inherent implication is that the game's going to be exclusive, since you're talking to PlayStation. But if you're talking to Bethesda, who at the time was a big multi-platform developer, the implication is it's going to be everywhere. I think that's a significant difference people overlook in those sort of things. So,
yeah.
Going back to Xbox Game Studios, we're talking about the Coalition. Now, our buddy Special Nick been out there saying, listen, he's got the insider info, and that there's a Gears collection coming. Like Master Chief style collection. Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears Judgment packed in together. A lot of people want this, a lot of people don't. I'm in the camp of the people who don't. So, as someone who doesn't want a Gears collection, I'm just going to say it's not real. And it's not real because I don't want it. So, I'm just
going to say it's not real because it's not real.
Really?
I don't believe. It just doesn't make any sense for me. I mean, maybe they're thinking like, yeah, if we make a Gears collection, some people buy it, and that helps cash flow the Coalition for a little while, because they got a lot of employees, and like they don't really have a big project right now, and I don't think anyone's buying PS5 microtransactions anymore. So maybe they just make it as a sort of cash flow thing or something. But for me, it's kind of like, man, Gears 2 kind of holds up with the upgrades, and so does Gears 3. Like, a remaster collection, for me, doesn't make a lot of sense. What would make more sense is a sort of full-blown remake of one of those games. Like, give it the sort of anniversary edition treatment that Halo got. But, I don't think a remaster makes sense when you've got the backwards compatible remakes already. What's the point? So, for me, I don't think it's real because it doesn't seem to make a huge amount of sense. But I know a lot of people want it, and maybe they've got some like unique ways to make it make sense. Maybe like it has like every single multiplayer map ever in one sort of package and stuff like that. But at the same time, I still think it's a stretch, man. I think it's a stretch. So yeah, I'm gonna say that it's not there because it doesn't exist. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
We do know the Coalition's working on something else besides Gears 6.
Well, do you think that other project shows up?
That's a good question. I honestly do not know. I think it's one of those that I have literally no information about, so I have no idea like what position of development it's in. I kind of want to believe that they're all in on Gear 6 and making Gear 6 the best it can be and taking it to that next level that everyone ultimately wants to see the Coalition hit. They got a lot of devs at that studio, and like they always seem to be like, I love Gears 5, don't get me wrong, but I always felt like it didn't go far enough. It didn't go far enough in its open world aspects. It didn't go far enough on its sort of soft progression systems. It just didn't go far enough for me. It had like a couple of story decisions in the game were like one, and it's just like, yeah, you're dipping your toes into all these systems, but there's no conviction there. There's no conviction. It's like, yeah, we got this soft progression system. Yeah, there's like one story choice. And it's like, I've seen all these systems in other games, especially third-person shooters, and I just kept thinking like, this is sort of soft Mass Effect at this point. You've got like one story decision. You've got like a couple of tracks of different powers and stuff. And you've got like these soft open world areas. It felt like it just didn't go far enough. So I want to see the Coalition get to that next level. I don't care how long it takes. Take like a million years to make the next game. But I'm hoping that they're all in on Gears, and maybe that's why they won't be there. I don't want to see a Gears collection. I want to see the Gears go to the next level. I'm tired of them rehashing the old games, you know?
Yeah.
But I might be the minority there.
It's funny because
I also want to see Gears Tactics too.
it was last year where the Coalition literally said that they were going to go dark for a while and they weren't going to announce anything for a little bit. Remember?
Yeah.
And I just
Didn't say that.
so I sort of feel like they're not going to show up at the show. It'd be odd for them to say last year, like, don't expect any announcements from us from a bit, and then the next year, here's Gears Collection, you know, and here's maybe this other game. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that Coalition's not there, and that their smaller game is 2024. So they'll be at the next show, and then maybe at the next show they do like, here's our small game, but then here's like Gear 6 we're working on too, and then they could be like, Gear 6 is a little bit further off. And I'm personally just saying, I don't think, because I don't want the Gears collection to be real, I'm just gonna say it's not real because I don't want it to be real. I don't know, like, for it to excite me, they would have to really show me why I want to play Gears 2 again, because it's already in back compat, it's already got the Hochi method, so it runs at 4K, it runs at 60 frames, it looks great, so it's like, that remaster would have to be like, okay, you got ray tracing in this thing, it'd have to look so much better for me to be like, yeah, I really want to replay this. I don't know.
Yeah, with like destructible environments and all that kind of stuff. It would really need something to prove it needs to earn its existence. If it doesn't, if it's just a sort of like a basic sort of Resident Evil 3 style bare minimum kind of thing, I don't want to know. Because Resident Evil 3 was so disappointing. As someone who was a fan of the original, they literally just ripped the assets out of Resident Evil 2 Remake, cobbled it together into a DLC-sized game that they sold for maximum price. They didn't even put the great bigger worm boss fight in that game. And I'm still bitter about that. Still bitter. And then there was that horrible multiplayer mode that literally nobody wanted and nobody played. So, if it's something like that, that is sort of, why does this exist? I don't even want it. So, yeah, I don't believe that.
Right. Miguel says, what about Game Pass titles?
Coalition in there.
What about Game Pass titles Callisto and Suicide Squad? I think if they do get Suicide Squad, it wouldn't be announced at this show. I mean, that game's not coming out until next year. No way they announce it that far in advance. And I don't really think Suicide Squad would be a Game Pass Day 1 title. Callisto, I mean, looking at it, that seems like that game's got Sony marketing. So that would say no to me. So, sorry. People are critiquing my Halo gameplay. I just like literally just recorded and I didn't care if I died or not. I think it's just on the One Step Under Legendary, whatever that is. I don't know. People are like your Halo gameplay is horrible. It's like, I'm not trying to be super pro. I just needed an hour of footage. You know what I mean?
I
Sorry.
actually think, we need to start recording some more gameplay footage. So, like, we've actually got more variety there.
That's actually.
Because we often just use the same footage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna record you 2 hours of Diablo Immortal gameplay, dude. Come watch that.
Yeah. Well, this Halo stuff was actually recent. I just never really used it. So, Chris R says Gears.
Okay. Yeah, I don't care about that.
Probably not. Chris R says the Gears collection might be viewed as a way to get all the Gears games on PC. Gears 2 and 3 are only still on console. That's true. That is true, and that's probably
That is true.
a way you can justify it. I'm not interested in it. So it's just like, I just don't want it to be true because I'm not interested in it. I know that's a very selfish thing to say, but, what else can I say? I feel like the Banjo Bros need their Banjo game. And even though I'm not interested in Banjo, it's been a while for them. Gears Bros have had all the Gears games they've ever needed, I feel like the Gears fans are constantly given things all the time. So it's like, do they need a Gears collection? Is Gears popular enough to deserve a collection like Halo? Definitely not. It's definitely not as popular as Halo.
Wow. That's mean.
That's for me getting back at you for what you were saying on Defining Duke. So,
What did I say on Defining Duke?
you were talking bad about Hellblade 2, and you were talking bad about 343 and Halo and stuff, so...
I was not talking bad, was I? I was just...
You're always talking
Spitting
bad
facts,
You're
baby.
always talking bad about the things I like. Yeah.
It sounds like spitting facts to me now.
Jason Dill says Randy thinks Sneak King 2 gets announced. Oh yeah, totally. Cheeto Gaming, thanks for the $1. And he also says, what if they announce the Gears collection running on Unreal Engine 5? Well, that's essentially what it would be Gears 2. I guess we'd have to see it. It looks significantly better than, we'll see. Dead Planet says Gears needs a God of War 2018 level of reinvention. Lock it in a dark room for a while and find the next evolution of third-person coverage. Level it up. Yep. So moving on from the Coalition, let's talk about Obsidian, because Obsidian could be the big star of the show. Even more so than Bethesda, because we know Bethesda's probably going to have at least 2 games. But there's a really good chance, I think, that Obsidian shows up with 3 games. One being Grounded 1.0. They've already talked about how that game is scheduled for 1.0 release, so I would imagine there's going to be a trailer. Avowed, I think, is a lock. I think you can take it to the bank, Avowed's going to be there. And there's probably even a good chance Avowed ends the show when you think about titles and ways they could end the show. But I would imagine maybe Starfield's probably a better game to end the show to lead into a stinger than Avowed would be. Maybe Avowed opens the show. There you go, Jez. You could open the show with gameplay of Avowed. I think that'd be a good way to do it. Because both me and you agree that we think Avowed is a lock. And Josh Sawyer's game, Pentiment, which he even retweeted the showcase announcement on Wednesday and said, he's getting ready, painting his nails. So there's a very, very, very good chance that 3 Obsidian games show up at the showcase.
I think it's going to be a lot from Obsidian in the show. I think we see Pentiment. I think we see Grounded 1.0. And I think we see Avowed. I think we see full-blown Avowed gameplay, blowout, and they announce a launch window maybe 2023. Just for like, yeah, this is coming holiday 2023 or something. I think some people like thinking it could launch this year. If it launches this year, I will be absolutely shocked. I'll be stunned if they manage to get that out for this year. I think next year is far more likely, but who knows? Who knows? I think it'd be really cool to see Avowed drop into sort of a Q2, maybe pre-summer, drop straight into Game Pass. It can like completely dominate because there won't be any other games coming out then, presumably. And I don't know. I'm really, really intrigued by that idea. I've seen Avowed gameplay. I've seen pre-alpha Avowed gameplay, and even in a pre-alpha state, it looked exactly like the kind of game I want to play. And I think Obsidian is just a tremendous dev, and I think they're going to do amazing things with Microsoft's money. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Avowed.
Right. Carlos says Mandalorian or Republic Commando 2 by the Coalition. I mean, it would be pretty damn dope if they were working on a Star Wars game. I'd take both of those. Republic Commando 2 would be incredible. Bookster 1919 says Gears is greater than Halo. Just facts, Rand. Well, you're Jez's new best friend now. He loves you.
He's right. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's right.
Taylor says, Rand, do you agree with Blessing from Kind of Funny that Avowed will get canceled? No, Avowed. You must be thinking of something else. Avowed, definitely not getting canceled. I don't know where that comes from.
Who said that?
He says Blessing from Kind of Funny said that Avowed will get canceled. I don't know.
It's definitely not getting cancelled.
Yeah. Goldchill says Nick said StarCraft Ghosts may be revived. I mean, they should revive some StarCraft properties once the acquisition goes through. 100% they should. And Face...
I know... Sorry, go on.
Well, Face 23, he says, which survival horror game are you most excited for? Resident Evil 4 Remake, Callisto Protocol, or the Dead Space Remake? Now that is an interesting question. And I'll just say, even though I look forward to remakes, looking forward to both Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, I do value new experiences. And Callisto Protocol is going to give me experience I haven't had before. So if you had to line it up and say you can only play one of these games, I would probably pick Callisto Protocol because it's new.
See, I'm of a different opinion. I'm more excited about Resident Evil 4 because Capcom is a proven entity, you know. And Capcom is sort of like, yeah, Resident Evil 3 Remake was not great. Honestly, I think Resident Evil 3 should have been a DLC for Resident Evil 2 Remake. If it was a DLC that was about $20, I would have been totally happy with that. But Resident Evil 2 Remake was absolutely, it was amazing. It was practically flawless. Exactly what I wanted from that remake. And I think they'll give Resident Evil 4 the same care and attention because Resident Evil 3 was not a landmark experience for the Resident Evil franchise, but Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 definitely were. So I believe Capcom will give the game the attention and respect that it deserves and commands and demands. So I think, I'm more excited for Resident Evil 4 because I kind of feel like Capcom will do that game justice. Whereas Callisto Protocol, while I do sort of like Glenn Schofield, obviously a visionary, I also don't know what kind of budget they've got for that game. I have no idea what the scope's going to be. What if it's going to be like pretty short or something? What if it's like 2 hours long or something? I don't know. So on that end, I'm going to sort of wait. I'm going to wait and see for Callisto Protocol. The trailer looks great, but been burnt before, and I'll just have high hopes for that game. But yeah, that's me. That's how I feel about it.
Grumble says Blessing is the pony's pony. I don't know about that. I think
Pony.
I think Blessing is a pretty smart guy. I mean, obviously he definitely prefers PlayStation, but I just don't really think they know a lot about Xbox. Which, you know, whatever. You don't have to. You know, it's not like he runs Kind of Funny XCast, but yeah. So if we go from Obsidian, talk about Bethesda Game Studios. I mean, this is a pretty easy one, right? This is just Starfield. And the only real question is how long is the trailer or demo, and where is this positioned in the showcase, right?
Yes.
So
I think Starfield is definitely there, obviously. Oh, snap, son, we've got spammers in the chat. I'm gonna get rid of them. Naked HD Fun.
they actually subscribed.
You. Yeah, no simps in this chat. Thank you very much. Only games. No simping, only games. But yeah, Starfield is definitely going to be there. It's just plainly obvious Starfield's going to be there, and I can pretty much confirm that it's going to be there from people I've spoken to. So you can expect Starfield at the show. Obviously, you know, it's not even worthy of a leak. I mean, it's the graphics right there in the graphic for the show. It's obviously there. I think we're going to get a Todd Howard classic demo. I think we're going to get a 5-minute Forza Horizon style long walkthrough gameplay to, you know, really just lift the veil of mystery over this game, and sort of like finally give us sort of an overview of what kind of gameplay features it has. I think that's what we get at Starfield. That's what I hope we get at Starfield. It's not what I know we're getting. That's what I hope we get. I don't want to see it as sort of another sort of scripted